What's up, guys? Readiness Reviews here with you again, and we're going to be doing another international military ration review today. Today we're checking out a pretty cool one. This is a Chinese individual self-heating ration. This is sort of the Chinese version of an MRE. This particular ration was actually sent to me by Sam's World of Rations. He's a fellow ration reviewer based in the UK. So I will have Sam's channel linked down in the description if you want to check that out. And just as a quick reminder before we get this over to the reviewing desk, the ration reviews will be leaving this channel in the future. So if you would like to continue seeing my military ration reviews, make sure you subscribe to the Readiness Rations channel. I will link it right here above me over in the corner, or it will be linked down in the description. In the future, all of the military ration reviews will be over there at the other channel. I am splitting the gun content from the ration review content. That's enough talking. I'm ready to get into this awesome PLA Individual Self Heating Ration. This is a Type 17 ration, even though there is no writing on the bag to indicate as much. We will be looking at menu number 7. This text down here is just the company that produces it. And down here on the bottom, we have a date of production. So that's going to be November 28th, 2018, meaning that this ration has a little bit of age on it. I know the Chinese rations have a reputation of maybe not having the best quality control and possibly causing some sickness. Hopefully, I don't have any ill effects from this one. On the reverse of the package, we have some text here that again reaffirms that it is a self-heating food and that rice and noodles are the backbone of the ration, but that it also contains some other items such as fruits and vegetables. This little block here is our contents list. The overall food content in these Type 17 rations seems to be a little less than that of the Type 13 ration, which has 2 main entrees. This one only has 1. And down here in the bottom, we have our nutrition facts. This ration provides 4,700 kilojoules of energy. It has a total of 37 grams of protein, 55 grams of fat, and a substantial 101 grams of carbohydrates. The best by date on the ration is 2 years. So at this point, we are over that best by date. And everything on the other side of the package here is just heating instructions explaining how to use the FRH, how to measure everything out, and how to get your ration nice and heated. They do put very convenient side tear notches on this ration, but I'm not going to use that because I want to preserve this bag for display. So we'll cut a little incision down here on the bottom. Everything seems to be very nicely packed in there. Let's give it a smell. Virtually no smell whatsoever. Well, that's quite the interesting little pile there. First thing we have there is a 120 gram package of multi-dimensional energy bars, sweet orange flavor, a very small 10 gram package of dry bananas, a 20 gram package of crispy radish. Happy to see this, a 15 gram package of sriracha sauce, a double package containing 3 grams of chewing gum and 10 grams of chocolate. This is a very odd light little package here, and that is a minuscule 8 grams of egg and seaweed soup. They include a measuring bag for the water for your flameless ration heater. This is our main entree, very nicely packed in some insulating foam and already in the flameless ration heater, which contains 2 heating pads on either side of our retort pouch. This retort pouch is very dusty and sandy with iron and magnesium filings. And wow, this thing is super hard filling. This rice is crazy dense and feels super dry inside there. There's no liquid or moisture in this retort pouch whatsoever. This dust is getting literally everywhere. And this is 300 grams of clay pot rice. And the last thing in our ration here is an accessory package. In that we have a toothpick with a nice little smiley face, a very convenient cardboard eating tray, a Chinese ration spoon, and a very thin and flimsy napkin. And I think I read this as sriracha sauce. It's actually sacha sauce, which I have never heard of before, but it is apparently a savory dipping sauce used as a condiment in China and Taiwan. I know, I'm excited to try it out. This meal seems to be quite a bit more comprehensive than the Type 13 ration, containing quite a wide variety of different types of food items. Probably going to take our main a while to heat up, being rice. So let's get that flameless ration heater going first. I do like that they provide this convenient little measurement bag. So we'll dump that water straight in. Fold the top of this over, give it a good swirl to get both those heating pads fully wet, and right away that has started making some noise. Found it a little odd that there was no drink contained in this meal, it's just all food, but no complaints from me, I don't mind water. Let's take a look at these multi-dimensional energy bars. I think a little bit was lost in translation on that one. Nice little tear notch on that. No sound of that being vacuum sealed or anything. These feel greasy. They have an oily sort of film to them, and they are individually wrapped themselves, and they certainly smell like orange. Go ahead and open one of these up. Take a look at this teeny package of banana chips. That's what you would expect, dry banana chips. And they smell like any banana chips I've had before. I guess it's just a couple little bites worth there, but better than nothing. This FRH is cranking, it is radiating heat. Well, let's open up this crunchy radish. This will be sort of a pickled item. It's very yellow, as if it's has some turmeric or curry powder, something like that. And it smells stinky, sort of like a cabbage smell. Yeah, that's certainly not the most appetizing looking or smelling item I've ever had, but I'm always game to try some weird Chinese pickles. And let's open up that chocolate and chewing gum, nicely packed. A couple very fancy little gold foil chocolate bars. Those are quite tiny. And one single large brick of mint chewing gum. Now this egg seaweed soup is probably the most odd item in the entire ration. I really don't know how we're supposed to prepare this. So let's open it up and take a look at it. It is just a weird block that smells extremely fishy. Look at that thing. All sorts of little green seaweed in it. I guess you add hot water to this thing? Let's take just a little nibble of it in its dry form to see what it tastes like though. Whoa, that tastes like straight ocean. Super salty, extremely fishy, but in an oddly good way. It's so crunchy and tastes like seaweed. I actually quite like this, although it is extremely salty. Being such a small block, I can't imagine this takes that much water to rehydrate. So I have what I've eyeballed here at maybe 200, 250 milliliters. And let's just drop that block in there and see what happens. It's starting to break up. You can see the seaweed sort of just dispersing outwards from the block there. There was a little additional powder in the bottom of this package, so we don't want to let that go to waste. I could probably use a good little stir. One of the first things I noticed there is a sort of odd looking but nice large piece of egg. And there we have soup. We'll check that out in a minute. I want to try one of these energy bars first. So this is very similar to like a Daytrex bar or a Mainstay energy bar, one of your emergency survival type food bars. These are usually fairly high in fat and extremely high in sugar for quick calories. Feels a little bit crumbly, just a little bit greasy, and it smells like very sweet orange. Break that in half. It broke extremely easy. There's a look at the inside, sort of a crumbly kind of grain structure going on. Let's get a taste of that. Oh wow, that's excellent. I thought it was gonna be super sweet to start with, but then some of that sweetness kind of faded away and it was almost a little bit savory. It's not unlike a really dry shortbread cookie kind of thing. It tastes pretty similar to an orange creamsicle. It's very crumbly and kind of powdery once you bite into it, but I like it. It doesn't seem to be thirst-provoking, not to any major extent anyway. If you had to survive on something, I'd say this wouldn't be that bad of an option. And I want to see if we can make any porridge with this, so I'm going to do my best to crumble some of this up. I've done this with several other types of compressed food bars in the past, and it usually turns out pretty good. I'm breaking it up with one hand and it's coming apart very easily. This is messy. I'm kind of getting bits everywhere. All right, I think that's enough for our porridge. I do have one last little bite here. I'm gonna go ahead and eat that myself. You could probably do this with cold or hot water. I'm gonna use a little bit of cold water on it. Shouldn't take very much. That's probably enough. You know, of the survival food bars that I've tried in the past, I think this one's the best tasting one I've run across. We'll try that in a minute. Let's get into these banana chips. I guess we'll go ahead and start with the biggest one here. There's certainly not very many of them. Looks like a decent banana chip to me. Very hard and crunchy. These certainly have some sugar added to them. They're good though. Just as good as any dry banana chip I've ever had. No complaints here. Decent, ripe banana flavor, satisfyingly crunchy. It's just unfortunate there's such a tiny little portion. Let's go ahead and finish those off. Back to our egg seaweed soup here. It's had plenty of time to rehydrate. I see a little bit of spring onion in there. There's a couple little pieces here that appear to be some kind of dried seafood of some kind. Shrimp, fish, something like that. And of course, all kinds of seaweed. Let's give that a sip. Whoa, that is flavor packed. It tastes like a very pungent shrimp broth. If you were not into fishy things, if you don't like nori, if you're not a sushi fan, you would probably absolutely hate this. I love all that stuff though, and I really, really like this. It's super savory. It has a high sodium content. That was definitely the right amount of water because the flavors are so condensed and strong this way. Man, that is awesome. We have an isolated piece of egg here. Let's see how that tastes by itself. The egg had a little bit of a different texture, but flavor-wise, everything tastes like this fishy seaweed. That is very satisfying though. Let's try one of those little mystery squares and see what they're all about. Really not quite sure what that is, but let's give it a taste. It was very soft. Yeah, I think that was like a little piece of dehydrated fish. That was great. If that was available in the store for purchase, I would be a regular for sure. Now let's go in for our energy bar porridge. It has really thickened up. Got a decent sized spoonful of it there. Some of the larger bits are still just slightly crunchy on the inside. The rest of it turned into a very soft mush. That orange creamsicle flavor is still shining through. It's very good like this as well. You could break up both those, add some hot water, and have a very nice orange flavored breakfast porridge. This flameless ration heater seems to finally be calming down. Let's get out the temperature gun here and see what it made its way up to. On the heating pad, we're looking at about 140. On the retort pouch, we're just about 120. It is absolutely covered with some very gross powdery debris. And I guess since they include a little tray, we'll use it. All right, let's pull that tear notch. Check that out. Clay pot rice. And it does feel quite warm. Dump that on the tray here. It all slid out in one big block. That's smelling pretty good. It smells like ham to me. Let's get a closer look at it while we're breaking it up here. So those bits there is what was smelling like ham. Those are pieces of pork. The rice itself has sort of a dark kind of color to it, and that's not because it's brown rice. It's just seasoned with soy sauce, giving it sort of a darkened look. It feels to be mostly soft. There's little flakes of carrot. We got some little bits of shiitake mushroom. That's quite the extravagant ration item. There's a better look at that pork. Still has a little bit of skin on it, some nice fat on it, sort of bacon-like. And then these weird things, some kind of sausage? Tiny little sausage bits. Check that out. You can see where it has a little bit of separation of lean and fat, sort of cut on a diagonal, little bit of sausage. And that's not looking too bad. All right, let's go in for a spoon. Try to get a little bit of everything, a little bit of rice, a little bit of carrot, a little bit of shiitake, and top it off with a little bit of sausage here. Let's give that a taste. Perfectly warm, a little bit greasy. Definitely has sort of a hammy pork kind of flavor going on. This bite has a large piece of that pork in it. That's chewy, meaty. The rice overall has a little bit of sweetness, has a decent sodium level. It's not crazy overspiced or anything. I wouldn't describe it as bland, but the flavor is definitely subdued. I love the texture of the rice. It's perfectly heated. A little bit gummy, but I don't mind that whatsoever. I want to try this little bit of shiitake kind of by itself there. That's chewy, woodsy, a little bit smoky. I love shiitake mushrooms. They're one of my favorites. And let's get a little bit of this sausage there by itself and give that one a taste. It has a very dense structure to it. I think that's where our sweetness was coming from. I'm certainly not disappointed. I'm just going to devour all this. I already know it. That had a real nice chewy piece of meaty pork in it. Pretty awesome. All right, let's try out our weird pickled radish here. Let's see, it's very yellow in color. Has kind of a fermented, almost stinky type smell to it. Sour, very crunchy. I really like that. So a little bit of heat to this. It's ever so slightly spicy, but I love the tanginess. I bet that's going to pair excellently with a bite of our rice. Oh yeah. Adding a little bit of that pickledy sourness to that rice is an awesome combo. That's definitely the way to do it. That's good stuff. But now let's really kick the flavor up and try out some of this sacha sauce. Let's look at this by itself first. Oh, it's very dark. Has a little bit of an oil slick going on. Seems to be comprised of sort of a dark chili pepper kind of mash. It smells like something that would go on mingering noodles. Let's give that a taste by itself. Salty, a little bit fishy, a little bit spicy, but pretty good. I think we're gonna douse the rest of our rice with this sauce. Look how thick it is. It's a 15-gram package, which is a good bit to go on this much rice. With that amount of sauce, it should really flavor this rice up very well. It's so salty, it almost reminds me of yeast extract. We got our sauced rice. Let's try it that way. Now that adds a depth of flavor that this just didn't have by itself. It certainly makes it pop. I think if we put even a little bit of cabbage with that bite, that's gonna be freaking awesome. So many flavors. It covers the entire flavor palette. You have salty, sweet, sour. It might be lacking a little bit on the bitterness, but at least it has starchiness from the rice. I need another bite of that. That sacha sauce is good. It's strong by itself, but once it goes on something, like any condiment should, it just makes it that much better. Getting down to the end here, let's check out one of these chocolate bars. Nicely packed in some gold foil. Sort of unbranded, generic. Looks like a milk chocolate bar. Break that in half. Had a real nice snap to it. And that does seem to be milk chocolate all the way through. Let's see what that tastes like. Had a nice snappy crunch to it. It's super, super sweet and creamy, milky. Definitely milk chocolate. Has a very low cocoa content. It's more of a candy than a chocolate in my opinion, but I actually really like it. Even though this is definitely like a lower end, cheap kind of chocolate, they did it in a really pleasant way, so I'm not complaining. And the last thing to try is our large brick of chewing gum. Gum is an item that was left out of the Type 13 PLA ration, but they decided to give us a nice big piece in this Type 17. Hard candy coating with a gummy interior. Whoa, I was expecting mint. That's some kind of fruit. Lychee maybe? It's very perfumey. It's not minty at all. It's very weird. One of the most surprising things in the whole ration. I wish I could tell you exactly what that tastes like, but to be completely honest, that's a flavor I've never experienced before. It's like a very fruity perfume. Quite odd, but not bad. It is losing its flavor fairly quickly though. Well, I'm gonna destroy the rest of this, but I think for now, That's the video. People's Liberation Army of China, Type 17, Individual Self Heating Ration, menu number 7, and that was outstanding. I want to say another big thank you to Sam's World of Rations for sending this over to me. I wouldn't have been able to get my hands on this without him, so I truly appreciate that. Thanks for feeding me an excellent lunch, buddy. Don't forget to check Sam's channel out, linked down in the description. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. That helps us out with the Google algorithm. If you want to see future military ration reviews from me, don't forget to subscribe to my Readiness Rations channel, also linked down in the description. And if you're a fan of cool military surplus firearms, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because that's the kind of stuff I'll be talking about in the future. Let me know what you thought about this ration down in the comments. Would you trust eating a weird Chinese ration? And if you have, what'd you think of it? Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you then. Peace.